Oh.
Die Sprachübertragung beginnt jetzt. Alle Teilnehmer befinden sich im Zuhörermodus.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our webinar today. The topic will be PDF Compressor and its new features. So most of the attendees know PDF Compressor already quite well, and this webinar will focus on some advanced features, and also the majority will be the practical demonstration by our CTO Armin. So I will just do a short introduction and also learn a lot today. Talking about new features, I installed Foxit Reader 8 today. And, if you know me, I'm a big PDF A3 fan or enthusiast, and I like this new feature here, which is just a little red dot. But if you receive a PDF A3 file, you never know if there's something embedded or not. So the red dot signalizes to you there's something embedded, and if you click to the clip, you see there's my original PowerPoint presentation embedded. And for the few slides I want to present, we will obviously look to the PDF-A file. Okay, just to introduce myself, my name is Thomas Zillman. I'm here working for Luratech over 15 years now, and I'm mainly responsible for sales. And Armin is our CTO, so he will also do the main part of this webinar today. And Armin introduces himself briefly, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Thomas. I'm the CTO of Luratech and therefore responsible for the development of the PDF compressor. I'm also with the company for many years now, and I'm of course also responsible for the development of other products such as the rendition server and our mobile SDKs. Just a few technicalities, as that's somewhat related to my job title. As you may have noticed, we have you all on mute. That doesn't mean we're not interested in your comments and questions. If you have questions, please enter them in this little questions widget in the GoToMeeting software window, and we will receive them and see them and try our best to answer them in the course of the webinar. Our experience shows that this succeeds in many cases. In some other cases, especially if questions are very specific, we will get back to you in the aftermath and answer the questions then. And of course, you're also always welcome to direct all kinds of questions to us, even if they're not related to the webinar, or if 5 minutes after the show you realize that there was something that you urgently wanted to ask. So don't hesitate. We will also make a recording of this webinar and we'll make that available to all participants along with the presentation slides from Thomas. And one last thing, after the webinar, after the closing, the GoToMeeting software will show you a short questionnaire, and we would like to ask you to answer those questions to help us improve our performance and our future webinars. Thank you very much, and with that it's back to Thomas for a few more slides.
Yeah, thank you, Armin. So I have to unmute myself. And as I said, I just want to give a little and short introduction, so to get a little bit of the surrounding. Most of you, as this is for the experienced PDF compressor users, know Luratech. So you know us as a company which is really an expert for document conversion. This is really where our strong points are. So very closer to the base technology, and very often the conversion ends up with a PDF, whether it's from scanned or whether it's from digital documents. The main product, which is now also part of the webinar here, is our PDF Compressor Enterprise, and Armin will do the main thing. So this is really the easy to deploy and easy to install and easy to go solution for converting scanned and born digital documents to PDF or PDF-A, and if it's a scanned one, also with OCR. When you follow our newsletters, you may have seen our new product, our second product line, the Luratech Rendition Server. This is not part of the webinar today, but I want to mention it briefly. So this goes beyond PDF Compressor. So PDF Compressor will obviously remain one of our main product lines for, yes, easy to deploy PDF conversion. If it's much more applications in a maybe large organization where multiple applications have to convert to PDF or do a PDF conversion, then maybe rendition server is a good solution, and this comes as a web service and allows for much more flexibility and integration into workflows. But this is not part of today, but just to set up the scene here a little bit. As you know, the PDF compressor likely already a little bit. So this is a one product which here in the blue box have everything integrated. So on the one hand, if you start with scanned documents and maybe thousands or millions of documents which are TIFF or JPEG, then it goes for the scanning conversion to PDF-A with high or full text searchability, which is one of the major benefits. So this is one thing. Or if it's a more born digital like email, archiving topics like this, office conversions or internal documents, or PDF conversions which may go to PDF-A, then the born digital part may work quite well out for that. And also PDF compressor offers an automatic mode, so you can throw everything into the input folder and PDF compressor will sort out the right technical way to do the optimal conversion to PDF or PDF-A. So this is a short introduction. I will be back with some advertisement later, but now the main part with Armin starts, and I just have to switch him or make him the moderator briefly, just a second. Then you should see the screen and the PDF compressor from Armin's screen.
Okay, thank you very much, Thomas. So I have PDF compressor here, the latest version in a virtual machine, just to be able to show you a few things and also to have a more English environment and not to annoy you with too many German captions and messages. You see the traditional layout here with the job list. I won't go into any specifics of what these jobs do. We have covered all kinds of features in previous webinars. We will directly and solely concentrate on a very few recent features of PDF compressor, and one of those is extended control over jobs with job priorities. Well, traditionally, and you may or may not be aware of that, every job has a priority in PDF compressor. It's shown here in this column already directly in the job list, and the priority is an integer between 1 and 10. Where when 1 specifies the highest priority, i.e. the most urgent jobs, and the value of 10 specifies the lowest of the priorities in PDF compressor. You may not be aware of that because by default all the jobs are created with a medium priority of 5. So if I enter a new job here, it has a priority of 5. Where do you set the priority then? Well, on this General tab, right, the first item is the job priority. Again, you see it's ranging from 1, i.e. the highest, to 10, i.e. the lowest, and the default is 5. And we know that many people never really bother to give their jobs different priorities. What's the effect of this priority then? Well, if you just run jobs in PDF compressor, as I'm going to do right now, I'm going to start these two jobs. They're running a few patent documents. You see the refreshing here is not so very good on this virtual machine. Let me stop that. I'm sorry. Yes. That is because of this setting here. I wanted to show that later, and so now I'm going to leave it out. So once again, I'll start these two jobs, and what you see here is they're being distributed over these 4 processor cores, for which there are 4 progress bars, so I can convert 4 files in parallel. And as you see, although I started the pattern 1 job first, tasks of the two jobs are worked on intermittently. So all jobs of the same priority, which in this case is 9, which is rather low, are being consumed concurrently. So it's not a total first come first serve scenario, but everything of the same priority lands in the same big pool, and from that the individual files to convert are picked up in a round-robin fashion. So it's not totally random, but it's really whenever one job on one core is finished, the one from the next job is being picked up, and this is done in a round-robin fashion. So even if there were many more jobs of this kind, they would all get their go, and files would be produced for either of those jobs at any given time. Okay, what happens now if I have this thing working here and I start a job with a higher priority? Let's do this quickly. You see this one rather immediately is preferred over the other ones. The job regular prio with a priority of 5 really gets to go, and only after the last few files of this job have been converted successfully, which will be any second right now, the other lower priority jobs are resumed. So the rule at this point is that PDF Compressor, for every processor core that becomes idle because some task has been finished there, PDF Compressor looks among the jobs being active for the ones with the one with the highest priority. If there are several ones, this round-robin schedule applies. Otherwise, it's only one job, and jobs of the highest priority are being worked on exclusively. So as long as there is something to do with the priority of 5, nothing will be done with a priority of 6 to 10. Okay? But on the other hand, as soon as something with a higher priority, say 4, is started, as soon as processor cores become available, these tasks will be preferred to the ones with priority 5. So far, so good. Yeah, I could go to the length of showing you the sequence of how these files have been converted, but I think this demonstration here on the virtual machine, which is also a bit slower than actually on the host system, I think that was enough to show you this kind of behavior. And there is basically one slight issue with this regimen of how priorities are handled, and that is, I've mentioned it briefly already, tasks of a higher priority are only started as soon as tasks of a lower priority have been finished. So if I manage, for example, to saturate all my processor cores with tasks of a lower priority and have them running for a while, then I can start the job with a higher priority. I'll do that while I'm talking here. I'll start a few things that are now configured to take quite some time, and you see even the big maps job is already covering or already using all the available processor cores, and I can now start this higher priority job, and it will not start to be processed for quite a while, because we're not aborting something that is already in process in favor of something with a higher priority that has just been started later. And this, for some of our customers, this actually is a problem, because creating such a long-running task is not so uncommon. All you need to do is have, for example, a folder full of single-page scans, which eventually end up as a 500-page PDF document that is not uncommon today, and this will be one task that cannot be divided further. It will all be run on one processor core, because this one 500-page PDF file has to be assembled there, and therefore nothing will surpass or overtake it as long as it's active. You see that here. So I have a job of a higher priority, but only now, after the first processor core of this big maps job has finished, there is a chance of the regular prio job to actually start. And this effect, this behavior, now you see it running here, and it's actually just a few files, so we'll probably finish pretty soon, and then the lower prioritized job will resume even on that processor core, while all the other things just ran and ran. This behavior, that so-called long-running tasks, can actually delay high-priority tasks, which are sometimes very small and very urgent, and you just want to have those few pages processed. That gave rise to a new set of options, and those can be found in the options dialog under PDF Compressor Service, and the more knowledgeable users may notice that this field down here on the bottom of this PDF Compressor Service tab is only there since very few, or has been introduced with one of the more recent releases of PDF Compressor. I don't know off the top of my head which one, but here you have a field where you can configure, and to be actually able to do that, I need to stop all those jobs now. You can configure a minimum priority or an exact priority for each of those 4 processor cores, which is required. So, come on. I've overloaded my little virtual machine here a bit. So basically, as soon as this becomes active, I can show you that. For each of the processor cores, you can say, well, the priority is unrestricted. This is the default setting, so everything stays the way it was. Every job can run on every processor core, or you can require a minimum priority for something to run on this specific processor core, or you can even require an exact priority. So what I'll do here, just to be able to show this, I will demand a minimum priority of 5 for, say, 2 of the processor cores, and then start the big maps job again. And what it will do is it will only consume the remaining processor cores where the processing is unrestricted. Oh, come on.
A little bit fighting. So basically you can reserve 1 or more cores for high priority jobs, which maybe think of digital mailroom, which may need to be processed as soon as possible, whereas the other ones may have more time or can run 24/7, for example.
Okay, so just before I intended to kill this process, it came to an end by itself. So you have the choice to say, well, at least job priority 5. Let's say here I'll need at least job priority 3, so it's even a higher priority. And now you see 2 remain unrestricted. If I start, well, let's start this one once again. That doesn't take quite that long, I would assume. So as soon as you see the feedback here, no, that was quick. You see that this is only covering the bottom 2 processor cores, the ones which are left unrestricted, and even if I start this additional job now, it will solely run on the first processor core, because the second processor core needs a priority of 3 or higher. And so especially if you have multiple processor cores. Of course, you can use PDF Compressor on modern server equipment with 12 or 16 or 20 or 24 processor cores in one machine or one virtual machine. You have quite a decisive influence on which jobs get actual resources and which jobs get to run where, and quite a few of our customers that are actually using priorities are making use of that feature now. Okay, the third topic is post-processing, and I've prepared a job here to show you a few effects of that. Post-processing has been available for a long time on PDF Compressor as well. What's rather recent is the ability to run a command once some task, i.e. some file, has been finished in PDF Compressor. So you have this field here for successful processing, and you have that field here for failure during processing. And the example that I have here right now is a little PowerShell command, or PowerShell script. So I run PowerShell on this file here, and I'll show that to you. This file is a little PowerShell script, and it actually sends an email message. And whom does it send it to? It sends it to myself. I put that in here statically. You can, of course, determine the recipient some other way. I'll send it with my own sender's address. I'll use our internal mail server here. And then you have a few environment variables that are made available to this command when it's called. So there are the regular environment variables plus a few extra ones that PDF Compressor sets. For debugging purposes, you can output that set, for example, to the log file, because every output that this script generates will also be put in the PDF Compressor log file. And so if I start this job now, it will not only send me an email message for every single file it has processed, but it will even take all those files individually and put them in those mails as attachments. This is, of course, rather wasteful, but for example, if you have rare failures and you would like to be notified immediately, this would be a chance to have the problematic input file sent to an administrator's account immediately. So many use cases here for this kind of setting would involve error handling especially. Okay. Of course, you can do a lot of other things. You can basically call any type of command here that you like. You can call a Windows batch file. You can write your own little application. You can call some standard tool. And as I said, most preferably you would call PowerShell or batch file. Okay, let's just 1 second. Well, I should give it higher priority actually to get it to run. And I'll start it. Okay. And as soon as that really okay. Well, I'm actually getting a few error messages because these two jobs are overlapping in their output files, but that's not so bad either. And I should soon have the first notification emails. There we go. Okay, just as I promised, you you have the created output file here attached to the email messages, and if you compare the sender and recipient and the subject message and the message in the email's body, I'll just close this here quickly so you can all see it. So this text here, PDF Compressor job result notification, that's exactly the subject line that we have here. And this is the body text process file and so on and so forth. So that's all in here, and as you see, those are the environment variables that I promised would be made available. So if you see a sequence of those messages, they all have different input files in there because every individual file in this case triggered its own message. So as I said, for a normal use case you wouldn't want to send every individual file, but there may be things like renaming or moving files or moving collateral files along with the file touched by PDF Compressor, all those things you might want to do in the course of regular processing, and all of that can be rolled into a batch script now and will automatically be triggered by PDF Compressor. So much for that for now. Thomas, do we have any questions already?
The one question was whether this PowerShell script is available.
Yeah, it's not part of the standard distribution, but we can easily make it available to everyone interested. Just send us an email to support@luratech.com, and as you saw, you will have to slightly edit it to make it suitable. Especially, of course, you will need your own mail server in there, but then you should basically be ready to go. The last thing I wanted to show today is the information that's written to the Windows event log. This is again in this options dialog down here under license, and it will write license statistics to the Windows event log. This is of course not intended to be used every 5 pages, but rather every 5,000 or 10,000 or 50,000 pages, whatever your granularity of licensing is. It is intended for operators to receive a heads up, a warning, if they're starting to run low on licenses. So if you have a 100,000 page license one time, you might want to put something like 90,000 or 95,000 in here, so you will get a warning in time to start thinking about whether you need to purchase another license or extend your contract with Luratech. But for demo purposes, I'll just leave the 5 in here and just start one job once again. I think this one runs quickest, and what this causes is that, no, that's the wrong window. I need this one here. In this event viewer you have, and that's automatic with the PDF Compressor installation, you don't need to configure anything here. You have entries under Luratech PDF Compressor Enterprise. Those are the names of the 2 service processes. You shouldn't see any errors in here. This is really just an emergency measure for errors that are so severe that we cannot log to our own log file. Otherwise, we will always try to write error messages to the PDF Compressor's own log file. But what you get here is this license information, okay? And so you get entries in here, and you see there are quite a few already because I set this to such a low value of 5, and it will notify me how my licenses are being counted down here. So I see I equipped this virtual machine with a 100,000 page license, and there are some 98,000 left after a few tries, and now they're being counted down by the job that's actually running. And once again, you can associate an event or a task being handled by this event system to this specific class of events. So you could go here and say attach a task to this log, which I've already done, and you see those tasks then in the task scheduler. And this is the task that I have associated to this Luratech PDF Compressor Enterprise license info event. You can of course also associate them with the error events if you want to be notified of severe errors. And if I look at the properties of this thing, it will once again use this little PowerShell, or a version of this little PowerShell script, to send me an email message whenever 5 pages have been consumed. It's a bit ridiculous, but I think you get what I'm aiming at. Actually, you could use this system to send emails directly without using the PowerShell, but this won't work with our mail server. I tried with our admin yesterday, and the PowerShell version works, and the direct sending would require an Exchange server, which we don't have at present. So I resorted to the PowerShell script. This script is actually even a little shorter, but it does something nifty here. It uses this WEVT, so probably Windows event utility, to actually send the details of this event. So the details in the way you would see them here in this, or even here in this details window, those will be put in the email message that is sent. And let's go back to actually my mail reader once again. Do I have it here already? Yeah, that's what it looks like. So event log, blah, blah, blah. I haven't gone to further trouble. This is actually a bit older already, but again, here you see the number of pages available and so on and so forth. So you could add a few lines and filter that and post-process it even more. But again, I think you get what this is all about. So without installing any further custom software and with just a few lines of configuration here and there, a knowledgeable administrator is now able to get an early warning for license events. And we know that some of our customers are using this option to write at a certain fixed time every day to generate such an event. They use that to perform their own little statistics, like how many pages are we processing per day, and what are our peak load times, and is traffic picking up before the weekend, and stuff like that. We have a few requests actually to extend this, but I think quite a few things can be glanced from this information and can be done with these features already. So that would be my overview of a few nifty details of PDF Compressor. Thomas, how are we with the time, and did you notice any questions?
The time is pretty good. Thank you very much, and I also learned a lot. So because it's not my daily business to dig into the Windows event log, but especially the technical guys which use PDF Compressor day by day likely benefit from that, and I hope you get an impression. So I think it's not possible that you understand every detail, but then our support, technical support, as you know him quite well, is always happy to help if you want to, yes, really implement or deploy some of those functions. No questions so far, and then I think I would switch back to me.
Go ahead.
And if you have, or the attendees have any questions, then please feel free to send them in the small box. We can do that, but I think I have to get rid of those now, sorry. Okay, so that's what we have seen. So that on the one hand, that there's the sophisticated possibilities to do the priorities, also to handle those long-running things. And we see larger and larger PDF files every day, so 500 pages, we have seen 10,000 pages, and also we discussed what is the limit of pages, whereas I'm not sure whether it's sensible from business sense if you have, I don't know, 100,000 pages in one PDF file, but in theory it's possible. And also the post-processing thing, and yeah, options to, yes, even better control and manage the PDF compressor in your production environment by deploying and using the Windows event log. And yeah, now for the end and for the surrounding again, so as you know, and as I said in the beginning, Luratech is now part of the Foxit family, and this also adds there's opportunity for more solutions. So as you know, Luratech for a long time, we are on the server side and have solutions like the PDF compressor for server-side PDF conversion. With Foxit and being part of the Foxit family, we can also discuss, or happy to discuss with you, new options. The one very new initiative, and maybe you've heard already about this, is from Foxit, is called Connected PDF, which is a cloud-based PDF ecosystem which allows for collaboration, so people inside the company or with different companies, so with your business partners, with your customers, can work on PDF files together. You get an advanced version control, access rights, and things like that. So maybe this is interesting. Have a look to the connectedpdf.com website. And known for a long time. I showed it in the beginning, and I really love to use Foxit Reader these days. So my preferred one is the Reader 8 feature with the red button, which is good for the use case, not for the technical guys like Armin, rather boring, I would say, but I love it really. Also, another one when you work with scanned documents is really that Foxit Reader offers a function where you can view just the OCR, what's that, layer or result. So otherwise you have to copy and paste it into Word. So with PDF or Foxit Reader, you can just switch to the OCR text, and then you can immediately see how good the OCR is. So this is one of the, let's say, Luratech specific use cases, which is quite good. And then obviously, if you want to go for complete client PDF processing, then Phantom PDF is one very sophisticated and advanced tool on that. So that's what we wanted to show you today. So that obviously most of you know us, that Luratech is your expert partner for PDF, for PDFA, and being part of the Foxit family, we can even offer more things, so a complete client and server PDF solutions. Hope this was interesting for you. As we said, more details on the technical level can always be provided by our support. Question to Armin? Any questions in between?
Let me unmute myself quickly. Okay. Just one question to be secure. Yes, everything that we have shown here is completely available with every licensed version of PDF Compressor. So nothing is specific to any kind of updated license. Any version of PDF Compressor that you buy will have all the features we've shown here, and they will work for all additionally licensed things such as Born Digital Conversion or Gothic OCR. They will work all the same there. So no worries. All we've shown here are absolute standard features. PowerShell is standard on most Windows machines these days, I think on all of them. And so whatever we can provide as samples will run on any machine.
Okay. Thank you, Armin. So then we are at the end of this webinar today. Thank you very much for your attendance. We hope you got some interesting information. Please feel free to contact us. When we finish the webinar, there will be a short questionnaire, so we would be happy to receive your feedback. Thank you for attending. For our attendees from the United States, have a good day, and for the ones from Europe, have a good evening. Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.